What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a rather happy player ratings video here on Anfield Agenda. As I'm sure you're aware, the Reds have beaten Real Madrid by 1-0, meaning that Real Madrid have failed to score for the first time in 16 games. In fact, it was the defeat to Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup that was the last time they failed to score. So as always, what we're going to do here is go through the referee, the players, the substitutes, and our manager, giving them all a score out of 10. If you've already submitted your player ratings, thank you very much. If you want to do so in the future, do make sure that you're signed up to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp community. You can get into that by scanning the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You'll see two images on every player. The upper right-hand corner is the average Anfield Agenda audience score, and the large square in the centre is mine. If you want to play along in the comments, please feel free to do so. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Drop a like on it, and I hope you've already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, we'd love you to do that as well, right? Lots to go through, so let's start with the referee. You know where I'm going to go with this, right? He was awful. And I don't just mean that because of them reinventing the rules for the penalty. I just mean in general, getting in the way for both teams and just giving stupid, cheap free kicks. I just didn't like it. Didn't like the display whatsoever. And I say that after we won the game. So it's a 3 for me for the referee. And the audience have gone for a 5. But honestly, I'm absolutely disgusted at that whole penalty decision-making process because it was nothing short of a farce. I don't even know if it was within the rules of the game. So either way, he didn't stop us getting the win. So 3 for the ref for me and a 5 from the audience. Next up, Georgie Mamadashvili. This is actually a difficult one for me to score because I don't remember him having all that many saves to make, but did command his area, did keep a clean sheet. That counts for something. Delighted for him as well. That is back-to-back clean sheets now for Georgie. So I'm going to give him a score of 7.5. And the audience, well, I mustn't be too far wrong because you've gone for a score there of 7.4. Now, though, the boy, the man, your Anfield Agenda man of the match. Over 11,000 votes cast and 62% of people voted for Conor Bradley. This was everything I enjoy in a performance from a defender. Tenacity, aggression, timing, put the fear factor into Vinicius Jr. Already put it into Mbappe previously. I mean, look, let's get straight to it. You know what I'm going to say here. He gets a 10. Of course he gets a 10. And the audience have given him a 9.5. It was another remarkable performance from a remarkable young man who, once he can stay fit, we know the class he has. So well done, Conor. Mr. Ibrahim Kanade. Again, a couple of things tonight, just nitpicky with Kanade and a few others. I thought that some of his distribution at times was a little bit wayward, but again, stood up to be counted there, got the blocks in, got his headers in, and kept a clean sheet along with the rest of that defence. So that definitely counts for a lot. So for Ibu tonight, I'm giving him a score of 8. And the audience have gone a little bit lower with an average score there for the big man of 7.8. Next up, our captain, Virgil van Dijk, who I did think was outstanding again tonight. You know, we talked all week and people were saying Mbappe was going to cook him, this, that and the other. Well, it's another clean sheet and another Real Madrid loss, and they're headed back to Madrid once again as they did last year with nothing to show for it. So well done to our captain. Again, I thought he was a little bit better than Kanade and my score reflects that. So I've gone for an 8.5 for our captain and the audience there have gone for a 7.9. Next up, Andy Robertson. Big decision for the manager, this one. You know, would he have gone with the youthful exuberance and energy levels of Milos Kerkez, knowing that Robertson, if he plays against City, would have to play 4 games in 13 days? I think the decision was the right one again by the manager, and fair play to Arne for that. Robertson came in, showed his experience, showed his class, got stuck in, was tenacious, did everything we would have wanted from him. And again, can't fault him. So for me, giving Robbo a score of 9. And the Anfield Agenda audience there, a score of 8.3. It really did feel like a rolling back the years type of performance, that from Andy Robertson. Now, into midfield, Ryan Gravenberch. I thought he was good. I thought he was very good. I still think we could do with, you know, an out-and-out destroyer in the squad. But the midfield today was the midfield that won us the league. You don't need me to tell you that. Arne used them against Aston Villa. Today went back again and they didn't let him down. They won that battle in midfield. So for Ryan, I'm giving a score of 8. And the audience a little bit lower there with a score of 7.9. Next up, Alexis McAllister. goal scorer extraordinaire, and who would have thought an Alexis McAllister header was going to win us that game? But he seems to be returning to the player that we all know and love. Again, built on that great performance against Aston Villa by backing it up again there tonight. Ran himself into the ground. Just thoroughly enjoyable performance. Was voted, I believe, the man of the match from the broadcasters. For us here at Anfield Agenda, that was, of course, Connor Bradley. But Alexis today gets a score of 9 from me and an 8.7 from the Anfield Agenda audience. Next up, Dominic Szoboszlai. I just want to stop actually for 1 second. I know these scores may seem high to people, and sometimes people will say things like, you know, you're very swinging one way or the other. You lose and they're low, you win and they're high. It's the performance, and tonight it was about the performance. We said it during the watch along. No matter what way that result ended, we seen the performance tonight. We seen the players step up a level, and we seen them do the hard yards. That's what we want as fans. Every bit of determination, every bit of effort, and they seen it out there. So that's why the score is a high for me. That, and of course the win. So Dominic Szoboszlai, he's the player of the season for us so far. I don't think that's up for debate. Again, ran the show in midfield, covered every single blade of grass, did the defending, set up lots of attacks, good with set pieces. What's not to like? So for Dom, a 9 for me, and once again, an 8.9 from the Anfield Agenda audience. Do let me know, though, what you think about Dominic Szoboszlai's season so far in the comments. Right, Florian Wirtz. Lots of talk before the game. Was this going to be Wirtz's arrival? Was this going to be his coming out party at Liverpool? I think it was. I think that was a very, very good display on a big night against a top opponent with the world watching. That is the level Wirtz belongs at. There are still things he needs to improve on. You know, we'd love to see him chip in with a couple more goals this season, but every time his performance for me is getting better and better. The manager found a way to keep the midfield and get him into the squad tonight by playing him off that left side where I think he looked very comfortable. So for me, I'm going to give him a score of 8.5, and the audience have gone just a little bit lower there with a score for Mr. Wirtz of 8.3. Right, we move on to Mohamed Salah. Look, I'm going to be honest about this, and I know I'm going to come in for some criticism in the comments, but I thought he was good, work rate, you know, he looked sharp on plenty of occasions, but it's the decision making. There was a couple of times tonight he should have released that ball and he tried to take it on himself and it ran into a dead end. Yes, he did set up Cody Gakpo for what could and maybe should have been another goal. Courtois was in amazing form, but that's the only critiquing I have there, and for that reason he does drop a point. So it's a 7 for me from Mohamed Salah because, as I said, I'm going to call it as I see it, and we love him. He is looking better, he's looking fitter, he's looking sharper, but he still needs to release that ball a little bit more when there are better options around him. So that's why I dropped the point there for him. A 7.5 from the audience, so I'm clearly not too far away. But let me know your thoughts. And again, not to try to be critical, just being sincerely honest at what I see out there. Ugo Ekitike, similar to Mo, lots to like. Good dynamism, good effort, good variation of his movement. You know, he can play into the channels, he can come deep, he can receive the ball, but a couple of touches looked a little bit loose. Just the finishing touches, same with Mo, you know, it's 85% of the way there. Ekitike, he's just a live wire though, very easy to like. So yeah, just being honest again in the performance, really enjoyed his performance, just those few little finishing touches, and I think we have an exquisite player on our hands. So I've given him a 7.5, and the audience have gone a little bit higher with a score there for Mr. Ekitike of 7.6. Curtis Jones, kind of struggled a bit to remember after Curtis came on what he did or didn't do, to be honest. And I remember him breaking a play a few times and trying to start counter-attacks, but at that point, to be fair, you know, I'm kind of lost in the romanticism of the whole game at that. So I'm going to give him a score of 6.5, and the audience have gone with a 6.7. But there are some of these substitution scores that I'm always open to being critiqued on because, you know, I'm carried away in a wave of emotion at these times and I'm just buzzing with the performance. Next up, Cody Gakpo can consider himself unlucky not to get a goal. Good movement across the front of the defender, and like I mentioned a moment ago, good pick out from Mohamed Salah as well. Unfortunately, Thibaut Courtois is just a world-class goalkeeper, and he foiled our attack many times tonight. Thankfully, we did find a way past them, but Gakpo, you know, he probably can feel a little bit unlucky to be left out of the team. I think Wirtz's performance, you know, backed up the manager's decision, but again, a decent display from Cody when he came on. So I'm going to give him a 7, and the audience a little bit lower there for Cody with a score of 6.7. Now, Federico Chiesa, would have liked to have seen him a little bit earlier, of course, but never shifts or never puts in anything other than a good shift when he comes on. But again, very hard to come in and influence that game too much with very few minutes to play, and my score will reflect that. So I've given him a 6.5 because I struggle when a player's only on for a few minutes, and the audience a little bit higher there with a score for Fede of 6.7. Let me know your thoughts though. Next up, Milos Kerkez, straight into the thick of the action with that crunching challenge in the middle of the pitch. Then had to get a little bit of treatment. And look, it was the right decision to start Andy Robertson. Milos Kerkez will be a fine player for this football club, but he's taken a bit of time to bed in, and that's okay. He's a young fullback like Bradley on the other side. So keep going, Milos. Today, we're going to give him a 6, and the audience again a little bit higher with a score there for Mr. Kerkez of 6.3. And now, Arna. And this is the one I was looking forward to speaking about, because I said after the Aston Villa game that I'd seen enough to know that there's no more talk of Arna out for me or being on the fence. The players responded and played for him, and that was my big fear. I was never doubting the manager's tactical nous. I was never doubting the formations. I was doubting whether his words were getting through and registering with the players. And if a manager does lose the dressing room, the rest will just fall into place and his job will be gone. But he got the response from them, and full credit to him for that. He's gone back to the tried and tested midfield from last season. He made the slight change tonight as well with Gakpo coming out and Wirtz coming in. And you got to give the manager his credit. He got it right. He believed in himself. Fair play. He's come through that wobbly period. And that's what we all wanted. You know, whether you were in, out, whether you were unsure, we wanted him to succeed. And we give him his credit when he deserves it. So well done, Gaffer, tonight. It's a score of 8.5 from me. And it's an 8.7 there from the Anfield Agenda audience. Ladies and gents, that is it for now. But of course, we do want to know your thoughts. Let us know on all the players' scores, the performance, and anything else you'd like to cover in the comment section. We appreciate your support as always. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and hit that subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow. Connor will have a video in the morning. I'll have a video at about 4:30. And then the late night agenda tomorrow night. Until then, bask in the glory of another victory and another clean sheet. Next up, before the international break, it's a trip to the Etihad. If we can win there, I think we'll all be very happy. Much love. We'll talk soon.